G'day everyone, Paul Stoner here, CEO of Beginners Scott, and I'm joined today by Daniel Ashton from our Alston Wick office, and we're talking about Salesperson of the Month for the month of June. Congratulations, Daniel.
Thank you very much.
And we've been sharing holiday stories and all sorts of stuff here, but we're at the Royal South Yarra. We've just had our training session for the morning, Daniel, and Josh is always a hard taskmaster, but I know you're pretty hard on yourself too with your numbers and everything, so it's good when you have a good month, and we spoke about this earlier in the year. You know, what's it taken you to get there? How many months has this been leading up? I know you had a gap. Last time we spoke, you said, I know I'm going to have a quiet May, I think it was. But
yeah, May wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
May was quieter. April was reasonably good, but the quarter as a whole came together with June.
Great. So the market as a whole, so we've seen conditions have actually been good, but for some election and what have you has held things back a bit. So when did you see things start to release for June?
I had a couple of things that pushed back into June from May, which is why May ended up a bit light.
Yeah.
But look, I guess, I was just thinking back on those transactions before we started talking, and I mean, the average is probably 2 to 3 years of tracking there, and there's a couple there that are probably 4 to 5 for those sales that have come together for June. So, they're a long time in the making. It hasn't just happened. There was one of them which came together quite quickly, and that was just a call through my database, and fortunately the client had mother had passed away, and so the unit came up there, but I wasn't obviously calling them about that. I was calling them in relation to their house and tracking them like I do. So that's I guess an interesting side note that you never know what's going to come out of a call. I mean, you might be calling someone in relation to a totally different subject, and just so happens that your contact sparks their memory.
So Josh touched on it today, saying think long term, and so some people don't get that in their career, thinking long term, and it's what that means is the process of the way that you make calls and the conversations that you have. So be great for some of the younger guys or newer guys that are listening to hear what your thought process is in terms of how you keep in contact with all of the data that you keep. And I know you're very good at it, and you do think long term. Was there a stage when you thought short term and you got it, or have you always had that ability to be thinking longer term?
Look, over my career I've had times where you do get into that rut of thinking short term, but I try to think long term, always now, from the point of meeting someone, whether it's at an open for inspection or whatever it might be. So really I'm trying to set up from the moment I meet someone where they're going to sit in the pipeline, however many years down the track that is, and I guess it's a commitment to going the distance, however long that's going to be. Like I said, one of those sales was a 5-year follow for transaction in June. So it's committing to the idea that it's going to take as long as it's going to take, and you're going to service that person appropriately until such times that they need you.
When they need you.
Exactly right. Don't drop the ball. No good. No good doing things and servicing people, and then getting either bored or frustrated with the fact that they haven't come onto the market yet. In a year or two's time, you drop the ball on them, and then you see another board on the property. I mean, nothing can hurt more than that.
No, that's right. And look, I said to Daniel this morning in the sales training, welcome back, and it's just a way of stirring Daniel, because he's always thereabouts, and he says, well, I'm just about there, and I know your figures are always right up there, and that shows your commitment to the contact. And so Josh talks about the way that he'd like us to do it. Maybe just explain to the guys what your start of the week looks like after your weekend.
Yep.
How you structure yourself and how you set yourself up.
Sure. So I plan my days every day. So I don't go a day where I don't have a plan for that day and just fly by the seat of my pants. I think things can get in the way, emails can get in the way, personal things can get in the way if you don't kind of set yourself a structure for each day. So that's very important to me. Obviously, from Monday we're doing follow-up calls. anything in particular, the houses where there could be more leads than an apartment. I'm focusing on those, and I might get my assistant to do the apartment callbacks for me, just to take a bit of load off.
Sure.
Once we finish that, I mean, that's pretty much Monday. I mean, if you're busy, you'll do well to get any task list database prospecting in on a Monday. But look, if it is quiet, then obviously you're going to be able to get into that in the afternoon. So that's pretty much a Monday. And then Tuesday, I mean, I've got a list of things that I go through each day when I'm planning my day that I would like to get done for that day. Now, I don't put them in order of time at that point in time, because you never know what's going to come up. You might have an appraisal at 3, or the next week might be at 1 o'clock. Or
so we're talking a to-do list? Do you work off a to-do list?
A to-do list. So I've got things that I'd like to get done on that particular day, and then I look at what I've got in terms of appointments, and then I fit everything in, else in around that. So Tuesday, obviously task lists that have been printed out for me from my system through the week. So I'm starting work on those. Also, I mean, there's different categories, obviously, in the database. Unconverted appraisal leads, hot appraisals, warm appraisals, cold appraisals, things like that. So working, working through all those lists, at various times, kind of splitting up the day as well. I mean,
which you and I are talking about it now. It sounds like so much, but when it's set up correctly, it's we're talking about 15-minute setup, they print out, you've got your list, and it comes down to really making the calls, doesn't it?
It does, and look, I'm a big fan of having a bit of variety. So I remember, a long time ago, when James Tosterman, was training us and talking about, just prospecting on his task list for the whole day. I prefer to have an hour block where I'll do one category of my database, and then I'll move to a different category at a different time, just to kind of split it up a little bit rather than...
And it's the same conversation, and
you kind of, exactly. You've got the rhythm, but the dialogue's a little bit different depending on what category of the database you're in.
So and while you're talking, I'm thinking we've got to do a session on assistants, and sort of going from being that salesperson to structuring your assistant so that it benefits you and they do all of that stuff that is not necessarily not dollar productive, but sets you up so that you can do the things that, let's face it, you enjoy doing. And that's sort of what we want to do. So when you made that change to having the assistant, how long have you had an assistant working with you?
Just over a year.
Just over a year. Have you noticed personally that there's been a big change in you and your enjoyment of the job?
Yeah, look, I think there are certain aspects of the job that I'm not great at. Admin's one of them. Admin's, one of them. So, so she picks up that, and she really loves that aspect. So that kind of works really well. And really that just frees me up to talk to people and to get in front of people more and do my role in our team, which is to list the property, and it also allows us to be more consistent with things like letter drops of sales and things like that. So she'll prepare all of that. She'll go out letter dropping, and again frees me up to just be on the phones or just be in front of someone. So she's kind of the gatherer, and I do the hunting. So
which is perfect, because I mean, really, what we're trying to do is to achieve all the things that are on our list that we know should be done for every sale or every prospect.
And on your own, it's very hard.
It is,
particularly
very hard.
Once you start to get busy. I mean, it's one of those things when you're not that busy. I mean, you've probably got enough time, but there certainly comes a point where you're holding yourself back by not having that assistance to take the load off. I like to think of it as things that require my mind, I've got time to focus on, and things that require, that need to be done but don't require my mind. They're the things
so we end up with a team
delegate.
that's doing it. But as Tom Panos says, and everybody has snippets of gold, and Tom Panos, I sat in one of his training sessions, and he said if there's something that you're no good at, hire someone that is good at it. And
very good thing.
And it is, as soon as you acknowledge that, because the more time you spend on the things that you are very good at, and if it's negotiating and listing, and they're the bits that create the money, if your paperwork or our letterbox drops are dropping us down, hire someone to do it, because it makes a big difference.
They're very important. I mean, they need to be done, and they just don't require you in particular. So it's really about, kind of filtering what does require your particular attention and what just needs to be done.
So with your personal goals for 2016, on track or off track?
Well, I work on the financial year, so I hit the number I was looking for. We got it. We made it by 6,000. So,
fantastic! Congratulations.
So just got there. Thank you.
It's a big coup. So what's the next stage for you? You set it 20% above what it was last year? Is it that simple for you, or are you looking to get a couple of things within your business right?
Well, I'd like to. I mean, I had the number that I wanted to achieve, and we've got there now. I guess going forward this year, I'd like to think that I could write that number, over and above.
That's your new standard.
Over and above the assistant.
Yeah.
So that number obviously includes having to pay the assistant.
Sure. Yeah.
She has a name, Samantha.
Yeah. Well done, Samantha.
But yeah, I think this year it'd be nice to hit that number, on a net basis rather than a gross basis. So that's really my target for this financial year.
Yeah, okay. And how well did it all fall into place?
As in
achieving the goal. Have to fight every day.
Look, I mean, it's a struggle. I mean, we only just got there in the end. As I say, we got there by 6,000, which was the last sale come together on the 30th of June.
It's a bit confronting, isn't it?
So I was trying to be. I was actually away on holidays, and we'd sold this property heads of agreement. And I was waiting for the contract to come in, and of course, the solicitors dragging their feet, and it came in with about 3 days to spare, and we ended up getting the purchaser in on the 30th of June to sign off. But they had questions during that day, so there was a bit of tension there. I'm thinking, I really want this sale to go in, because it's the difference between getting there and not. And we got there. So it's just by the skin of your teeth.
What do you think's been the big learning experience for you working with Sam over the last 12 months?
I guess learning to be mindful of what she's doing. I guess changing from a single person where you're only
so you found yourself sort of drawn back into things when you didn't really need to be there, or
absolutely. You certainly find yourself taking up tasks, and then you have to stop and think, hang on a second, does this require me, or does it just need to be done and doesn't require me, and then delegate it across?
Letting go.
So I think, exactly, letting go of control, and I'm a bit of a control freak like that.
I think we all are.
Yeah, so that's definitely been a big thing for me. But just being mindful of making sure that she knows what she needs to do for the day, so she's not kind of short on tasks. But definitely that first 12 months has been a transition in letting go.
Find yourself in new territory. What am I doing here? I'm supposed to be back over there, and it's obviously worked for you, and congratulations. What are we expecting for Alston Week through July and August?
July's quiet.
Everyone's away, are they?
Yeah, there's quite a few people away. There's literally not much on the market again. I mean, and that was the same with June. I just had a good run in June. So I was very fortunate with that. But July there's a bit around. Got a bit on for August. Listing hard for September now. So I mean, as we were saying in the training before, I mean, we're almost in spring.
That's right.
I mean, people listing now are listing for spring. So it's it might not feel that way, but it's here already.
Well, and the more we have a day like today, so we're sitting outside at the Royal South Yarra, and it's probably about 16 degrees or something. It's winter.
Quite balmy,
It's can feel a bit of a chill, but it's not bad at all. So that gets people thinking, I'm almost ready to sell.
Exactly.
If they're in that process. Mate, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're consistent. You're there, you're doing it with a smile. That's what we like to see.
Absolutely.
And congratulations to the team at Alston Week. And Samantha is obviously helping you do some good things.
Absolutely.
So
I appreciate her work.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.